Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Barnes here, and I have got such a treat for you. I can't believe it, but I'm on the line with Mari Smith. Mari Smith, welcome. How are you?
Hi, hey Joe, I'm doing awesome. It's a bright, sunny day in San Diego, and life is good.
So excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know that all of my students are going to be so incredibly excited to hear from you today. I've got questions. You will not believe how many questions I've got. I could be on this call for about 2 hours. But I tell you what, before we're going to talk about Mari's new book that's just been released. So we're going to be talking about that. But before we get onto the book, Mari, I'd really like to ask you a little bit about your journey, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I was watching one of your trailer movies, and I saw that you were talking about how painfully shy you were when you were a child. And then you went on to say that you arrived in San Diego in 1999 with nothing but £20 in your pocket. And now you're practically a celebrity. So what a transition from, a painfully shy child to an online celebrity. Was this where you wanted your life to go? Was this kind of your ambition, your dream? Can you just sort of tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yeah. Thanks, Joe. Great question. It's interesting. My childhood was away in the boonies of BC, and so we grew up away from regular civilization even. I mean, we were in this tiny little place with dirt roads and log cabins, and I always yearned inside. I just longed to be in the bright lights of the big city. I always felt like there was this whole other life that I was missing out on. And, my life progressed, and then I went to Scotland when I was 12 with my dad and my sisters, and I was in the UK for 20 years before I came to United States in 99, and all of that time during all my 20s and then into my early 30s, I was an employee. I worked at all kinds of different careers and secretarial, administrative, sales, marketing, computer training, lots of different careers. And it was 98 that I had picked up a copy of the Celestine Prophecy. I don't know if you ever remember that book, or if you know, it's I always had this desire to learn more about metaphysics and spirituality and law of attraction, even though I don't think we even called it that back then. And I just know, long story short, that there's a saying that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And I feel as though throughout my different careers and the different inner work that I was doing, I was paving the way in order for this opening to happen, to come and be invited to come to San Diego. And the reason, I decided to come with 2 suitcases and very little money, that's all I had at that time. I was in the middle of getting ready to launch my own business. I had been bitten by the entrepreneurial bug, and I had this vision to launch an international training and speaking and training company with personal and professional development courses. Spent the whole of 98 planning and getting a business loan and taking courses. And then when the opportunity came to come to San Diego, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just a defining moment that I knew I was supposed to come here and start my business. So that's what I did. I met some amazing people, and I got sponsored. And it's when you follow your heart and you follow your guidance, your intuition, your higher source, whatever people want to call it, then life seems to unfold easier, I'll say. Obviously, and yourself being a fellow entrepreneur, sometimes you bump up against resistance and challenges, but you push through them because your heart's always in it, and it's just just very passionate about what I do.
Yeah, I talk a lot actually to our students about following your passion, and really focusing on one thing. I get lots of feedback of, it's so difficult. I've got all these opportunities around me, all these different things I want to do. How do you kind of deal with that? I mean, the situation that you're in now, you must have opportunities just flying at you from all over the place. How do you keep your focus? How do you remain sort of really kind of, this is the direction I'm going in?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because since 99, I've been an entrepreneur, and throughout the last 12 years, And even previous to that, in all of the different careers I had as an employee, the two threads that ran throughout were my passion, my love, and my fascination for people, relationships, behavior, and then the technical. I love computers, I love programming, new websites, and the internet. And when that really came online in the mid to late 90s for us in the UK, and so really, my career now as in the social media arena, and as I call it, relationship marketing, is a culmination of all of my various passions. And so the focus for me really since 99 has been on relationship marketing, and that's looked different. Like I was a life coach for a little while, and then I was doing internet marketing consulting, and then it all morphed and grew into social media. But I love that you picked the word focus there, because every year I pick a one-word theme for my whole entire year. And so I got involved with Facebook in 2007, and then in 2008 I started this one-word thing, and it was focus was my word, and I always love that as an acronym for follow one course until successful. And so I really was rigorous about only talking about and positioning myself as a Facebook expert. Besides, I absolutely loved the platform. I mean, I just completely fell in love with it in May of 2007 when I first joined it. And so then, and for example, so people would direct message me on Twitter, and they would ask me if I would tweet something. It was back in 2007, 2008. And let's just say, I remember one time distinctly, someone had said to me, would you retweet this? It's a special hormone replacement therapy thing that I'm working on. And even if I was really interested in that for myself personally, or wanted to share it with people, I didn't want to dilute my focus and put something into my stream that would take away from, what's she talking about? Wait a minute, she's talking about Facebook here, and then she's talking. It's okay to have interests. People want to hear about personal interests, but when you start directing people to different subjects for business and having, like a lot of people do this, like with network marketing, and having different hats. So now, if we dial it back, or fast forward even to today. I'm launching a new institute, I'm launching a series of magazines. I'm working on version 2 of the Facebook marketing just as my relationship marketing book comes out. I have 3 levels of a mentorship program. I have speaking and traveling, and it really does. I turn away more opportunities than I can accept, and even still feel very stretched. And so, I don't know. Joe, to me, it's back to that. It's like a quality of life. Do you want to build your business around your lifestyle, or do you want to have your business own you? So I don't recommend the latter.
No, it brings me actually to a great. I want to come right back to that relationship bit as well in a second. Before we go there, it does bring me to a great question which I get asked all the time, which is really about managing time. I try and get on Facebook an awful lot. Obviously, we've recently now had Google Plus has come on the scene. I'm not even anywhere where I should be with Twitter. And I get lots of people that say to me, Joe, there's so much, you bring out so much stuff, where do you find the time? And then I look at you, and I look at people like Guy Kawasaki and Chris Brogan and all you guys, and you are just unbelievable. You're like everywhere. You've got content coming out all over the place, and now you've got a book as well. How on earth do you fit it all in? Do you sleep? Do you sleep?
I do sleep. I do. And sometimes I don't get enough sleep. My body prefers to have at least 8 hours, sometimes more, 8.5 hours, but I catch up on weekends. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't have a lot of extra commitments or responsibilities outside of my work, and so I'm blessed with the ability to have a lot of freedom to choose, if I so desire, to invest that time into my business. I do my best to have a balance, and in the last 3 years, I've really done an awful lot of spiritual and personal growth. Chose to get divorced back in 2009. That made a significant impact on all my life as well. Earlier I was saying, like, the floodgates open when you follow your heart and your intuition, and that for me was a real pivotal time that I was really kind of stuck. And even though my business was growing, it could only grow so far, and I knew that I had to step up and into a whole other level of truth. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that happens for people not like that didn't come out right. Not like there's levels of truth, but a level of living my purpose is probably a better way to say it.
Yeah.
And sometimes things are just not meant to last for life, and that was what happened for me. And so I'm losing my train of thought now. What was your original question?
Just about your time, how much time that you get to spend. Yeah.
So my spiritual teacher, Esperanza, she's the founder of the Soul Institute, just soulinstitute.com. She's on Facebook and Twitter now, and I just got her on Google+. And she's an amazing, amazing lady. And I'd known her for a long, long time prior to reconnecting with her in 2009, and she really helped me through my transition. And she helps me, through the work that I've done with her, she really opened up a door and helped me to see when I become real obsessed with, oh my God, I just got to do one more tweet, and I got, like in that frenetic kind of energy, which I think a lot of people get like that. It's that constantly plugged in, that having that feeling that, oh my God, I'm missing something. It's allowing yourself to tune in and go, well, what energy is running me right now? And why am I feeling like I can't unplug? Oh, I can't take a weekend off, and, I'm going to miss something. And often that's what it is. It's some very deep-seated emotion from our childhood of not wanting to miss out, of being afraid that, sometimes my own fears is like, if I leave my fan page for 48 hours, like say, or maybe even 3 days, and what if somebody's written something really nasty and it's sitting up on my wall? And then I'm like, oh, come on, Mari. People that really know you well will just know that someone's just, it's not accurate, right?
Yeah.
So back to the timepiece, when you can get disciplined and rigorous, and it's more important now than ever before because of this whole new way that we're doing our lives and our businesses, because it's constantly 24/7 plugged in, around the world, around the clock, is having that discipline to go, these are my hours with my family. This is my time for relaxation. I get lots of massages, and I go to the spa, and next week I'm going to Hawaii for a vacation. I don't do vacations that often, so it's unusual for me, but I'm looking forward to it. It's my first trip to Hawaii, and it's that daily application of being in balance. I always think too, Joe, as far as like social media content engagement, is less is more. If I can only manage to put one post on my Facebook fan page in a day, that's enough. That's fine. It's better that than what some people will just go, oh my God, I don't have time, and their page will sit there for weeks on end with nothing, and it's like you just really lose that momentum. So.
Yeah, so it is more about, rather than, because I get questions like that all the time as well, about how often should I post, which is a very difficult question to answer because it kind of depends on your business and what you're trying to achieve. But right. So really, as long as people will post, keep that kind of consistency going and post at least once a day or whatever, and retain that kind of momentum, engagement with their followers and fans, and that's more important than being on there constantly. Yeah,
I really do think there's this wonderful saying a friend of mine said years ago. It's like at the end of the day, there's just this cacophony. There's just this constant barrage of noise, and they call it signal to noise. Is you familiar with that phrase? But she said at the end of every day, you want to be the voice that's not just heard, but that's remembered. And you said the key word, which is consistency. That's one aspect of just even if it's once a day or one tweet a day, 10 tweets a day, or 2 tweets a day, whatever it is, you pick your number, you pick your amount of time that you're able to be online and be engaging and sharing good content, and then do your best to stick with that. And so then, in addition, though, with the ability to rise above the noise and to be heard, is that aspect of really coming from the right place, of like coming from a place of wanting to serve and add value and being passionate and caring about people, not having an agenda. Because, okay, so you could send 6 tweets a day and 2 Facebook updates a day, but your underlying agenda is, I'm trying to sell people, I'm trying to get them to click on my link, and you're not going to be fulfilled at the end of the day. People are going to feel it. You're not going to have anywhere near the success. So being heard, I think, is just, and this is a common thing for everybody, it's just that everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to be acknowledged and seen and validated. And so just, I think authenticity is a word that's been thrown around for years now since social media has, become so prevalent, authenticity and transparency. But it's really, really doing your best and doing your inner work to be able to embody those qualities and not just say them in a kind of throwaway gesture, but really, truly to embody them. So, and it's funny because I do my best to weave spiritual principles into the business world, and when you are coming from the place of wanting to add value and not focusing on, oh my God, did I make a sale today? It really, you end up making sales anyway, is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
My spiritual teacher, she calls it, before you post anything, I adopted it this way, that before you share anything online ever, before you even say anything, ask yourself, what is my deepest intent? And when you can get underneath what is your deepest intent and listen in that split second, because your inner self will know. Your deepest intent is like, to get 50 more fans. Well, then what? Oh yeah, well then I want to make a difference in their lives. I want to help them. I want to support them in having a richer life, a more fulfilling business, or whatever your overarching agenda is. So, long-winded answer. Hope that was valuable.
That's fantastic. I'm going to start asking myself that question now. And it's a great question to ask. Yeah.
Because you know what? It helps you to totally always sleep peacefully at night. And this whole concern that people have about privacy and everything, it's like, I just say, if you don't want anything online, if you don't want anything shared, then just don't put it anywhere online, even in the tightest privacy settings.
Yeah, absolutely. Mari, before we carry on, can I just ask you a really quick question? Because I'm very conscious of where I'm looking. I'm looking at your picture coming back at me. When I'm looking at that, are my eyes looking at you, or are they looking down the screen?
Right now?
So I'm looking at you right now. Am I looking at you, or am I looking? Does it look like I'm looking down?
Your eyes are looking down the screen.
So when I do that, am I looking at you?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to check that. Okay. Can I just touch on just conscious of your time, can I just touch on the big issue at the moment, really, which is about the fact that Facebook obviously have just recently introduced a subscribe feature. So now you've got this whole kind of becoming a public figure on Facebook. With Google, of course, there's now this connection with the Google profile, and the fact that when you do a Google search, your picture's going to come up, which links back to your profile and all that kind of stuff. And of course, now this word author is being bandied about a lot, in order to really become an authority in your niche, in order to become an expert, to be seen as somebody who is sort of one step ahead of the game. You need to be, one of your sayings, which I loved off your social media experts webinar you did a couple of months ago, and you talked about being a prolific content producer. I've been using it ever since. I love it. But a lot of people are concerned that in order to really sort of grow their business, they have to become this public figure. And what do they do if they don't really want to do that? If the business is that they want to grow their brand, but not necessarily them. It seems that everything's leaning now towards you becoming sort of a public figure. And of course, in relationship marketing, that's really quite important, that as a business owner, you're willing to essentially put yourself out there and start to create relationships with your customers and all of that kind of stuff. So, what's your whole sort of take on that?
Well, I have the greatest respect for anybody's choice over how they wish to compartmentalize their life and what parts they wish to keep private. I think that everybody really needs to give deep thought to that. Also, we have to look and see what ultimately are Mark Zuckerberg's intentions here. What is his objectives? And he is absolutely wanting Facebook to become the center of our online identity. And with those recent changes at the F8 were astounding. I mean, the new verbs that are going to be in addition to the like, and you're going to have this massive, repository and this composite of information about every human being on the planet, or everyone that's on Facebook that chooses to share that amount of information. I mean, I have not even used Spotify. I've stopped using my Words with Friends. I don't want my Scrabble plays going on to Facebook, anything like that. I've gotten a little more cautious, quite frankly, since all these changes of the ticker and the real-time updates. Regards to subscribe in the public figure, that is absolutely a personal choice. When you tie it in with all the other changes in Mark Zuckerberg's direction of wanting us to share more and more, enabling the subscribe feature kind of almost puts this pressure on you to go, well, gee, now people are signing up to get my public updates. I better share more. I better put more content out to the public. Make it open. It was just a really brilliant move on his part. But here's the thing. You have to make a personal choice. Do I want to have my business over here as a fan page and, as a Twitter account, as a Google Plus account? Well, Google Plus right now is supposed to be personal. We'll eventually have pages over there too, hopefully. Your blog, whatever, LinkedIn. Facebook is really a different animal because you still have the choice of locking down your personal profile, turning all the privacy settings down, or turning them up, I should say, so that you're just connecting with a close circle of real true friends that you know in real life, or people you trust and love online, family, etc. Think about this. Of the 800 million Facebook users, active users, the average number of friends anyone has is only 130. Those of us with thousands up to the 5,000 max are completely the anomaly. I don't know the percentage, but my guess would be probably less than 5%. Wow. And yet we're sometimes the loudest because we're on there, a lot. We're talking about it. I've noticed I'm still kind of in an experimentational mode right now, Joe, because I turned my subscribe option on. I looked and saw, okay, well, Zuckerberg's got his on, Robert Scoble, turned Jesse Stay. Some of them immediately had Facebook do an insider deal for them and turned their fan page morphed it, combined it into the profile. It wasn't that long ago that they were offering to do it the other way around, right? Have your profile made into a fan page if you accidentally set it up that way. And so I'm like, okay, well, we'll turn it on. And instantly I noticed that my core group of friends and my family have backed right off. They are not commenting anywhere near what they used to on my content because all of a sudden you have all these complete strangers and sometimes they're spam and rubbish and they have to get in there and quickly delete it. And then I'm thinking, well, gee, the only way to prevent that is to block these people. Yeah. And then if you block them from your personal profile, well, they can still go over to your fan page and they can write stuff over there and you don't know they're writing. It's just a little bit unstable right now, quite frankly. And I really do recommend to your question that people give great thought as to, how they want to position themselves and do not yield to pressure. Keep in mind what where Facebook is going with all this. I don't know. There might come a point in time if I decide to turn my subscribe off. I don't think I will. I think probably what I'll do is end up using my personal profile as another channel as I am now. And one of the features that I absolutely love on Facebook, maybe you feel the same way, is the groups, and specifically the secret groups, because it's different even with the Google Plus circles. It's like, who's seeing what at any given time. You don't have to pick a list and go, well, gee, who's in that list? You just absolutely know who's seeing what content, and it's nice and contained. Still bearing in mind not sharing anything critical, sensitive, super, super private, because it is going into the master Facebook database. But I have a group for my family, and we share, we connect and we share there. So it's almost like I'm moving away from my personal profile for anything personal. It's become almost business since the subscribe. So
yeah, but fan pages are still the business. They're still the really important business side of Facebook, aren't they? The fan pages are still.
Yeah, totally agree. I do, and it's really. There's aspects over there. Well, it's interesting because the line's getting thinner, but yeah, you can add the custom apps and have that whole customization, and especially as and when, more than likely, Facebook will apply that timeline feature or the same kind of look and feel. So you have the big cover photo and then the timeline. People will be able to go back through all the archives of your posts from your fan page. Yeah. But I mean, but keep in mind that there is one of the real core rules still in place, which is you cannot have a personal profile in the name of a business. It has to be a person. So absolutely. Your fan pages will still be around for a long time. Then besides, you can only do ads and sponsor stories from fan pages.
From fan pages, yeah. Thank you very much for that, Mari. Now, please tell us a bit about the book, The New Relationship. Tell us, you've got it, haven't you? Have you got a copy there? Let's have a look at the book.
No, it doesn't come with bling, but I added bling to mine.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm just thrilled with it. Anybody here who's listening who's a published author, self-published publisher, even writing ebooks, it's like it's a labor of love. You get in there and it's like getting your thoughts all in together, and you lots and lots of editing, and then finally it arrives and it's it's ready, and you put it out to the world, and it's an interesting process. I think this book has been in me probably for about 10 years because I've been talking about relationship marketing long before social media was a buzzword, long before Facebook even existed.
Yeah.
To me, it was always about relationships. And the acronyms B2B, B2C, business to business, business to consumer. I really like to think of those as P2P. It's people to people. Even when you're B2B, the businesses have got people in them. You
Absolutely.
don't do business with logos and buildings and offices. You do business with people. So the whole aspect of relationship marketing to me is actions that you take to build and nurture and sustain long-term relationships, actually, that you increase the lifetime value of a customer. In fact, your intent, if you will, is actually retain customers for life in some businesses, some major businesses. So lots of different things in the book throughout. There's 9 different steps to build upon how to build that large and loyal and profitable network using both online networking and offline, and how it's a whole chapter dedicated to getting out there and joining events, as whether as an attendee or as a speaker, public speaking, training, obviously leading webinars. So very excited about it. And then in the beginning, there's a chapter on overcoming your fears of like privacy or exposure or taking up too much time. Some of the subjects we've been talking about here today.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to read it. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm sure lots of my students will. So talking about people to people, I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you.
But before I do, I'm going to ask you some very personal questions, which I'm sure nobody else will have asked you. So Mari Smith, getting to know Mari Smith. I'm just looking at my little list here. Okay. Mari obviously has a British heritage going on. So Mari, do you prefer Hershey's chocolate or Cadbury's?
Oh, Cadbury's.
Cadbury's. Do you prefer haggis or hot dogs?
Oh, haggis. I actually do. I like haggis.
Really?
I do. Real, genuine haggis. None of that tin stuff or that vegetarian stuff.
Okay.
Got whiskey in it too.
Oh, nice. That sounds nice. Baseball or soccer?
Neither. Not a sports person.
Not a sports fan. Okay. The Scottish hills or the California beaches?
California beaches! Oh my God. I love Scotland.
Okay. New York or Edinburgh?
Oh, tough call. I went to New York in the summer for the first time ever. I'd have to say Edinburgh. I think Edinburgh is still one of the most stunning cities in the world.
It's beautiful, isn't it, Edinburgh? Yeah. And lastly, Facebook or Google Plus? I know what you're going to say.
Oh, Facebook. Yeah. Well, I think Google Plus, it's interesting. It's kind of lost its luster a little bit through the summer there. Hopefully it comes back. But yeah, I just, we talked a lot about Mark Zuckerberg, and I just admire, he has this phenomenal vision, and that is to help the world to connect and communicate more effectively, such that world problems might be solved. And so when we can come at these sites, specifically Facebook, from that perspective of, wow, what if we could create more world peace? What if we could, create more abundance and more wealth on the planet through these social networks? It really shifts it.
Fantastic. Guys, Mari Smith, you have been amazing. Thank you so much for your time. Sorry that we've run over slightly. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Relationship Marketing by Mari Smith, it's out in Amazon bookstores right now. So go and grab your copy. I'm going to be grabbing mine. And I'd just like to thank you so much for joining us, Mari. It's been such a pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure. And they can go to marismith.com/books.
marismith.com/books, and you can go and get the book there. So grab your copy. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Mari.
Joe. My pleasure. Good to be with you.